Braith's been busy in the market in the off-season, haven't you, Braith? You're
was.
always busy. I feel like you've gotten a few deals done.
I had to, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about Jonah Pezet, because this was an interesting contract that you negotiated, one we've never really seen before.
Yeah.
What appealed to you and to him about doing it this way, going to Para for 1 year?
Yeah.
And then
it kind of just evolved into that lower. Like, it wasn't a plan from the start. It was impossible to plan. But because Jerome Hughes was re-signed, and we had a clause from the beginning that if he re-signed, Jonah could he'd be off contract effective immediately. So we put that in place for good reason, because Jonah's, he's been sitting and waiting for a long time, and we've been very patient. He's been very patient, and he's done everything asked of him in Melbourne, and the pathway they gave him and also the development was next level. So he'll be forever grateful for that. And he didn't really want to leave, but at the end of the day, you do this, you train hard, you go through all this to play first grade. So when that happened, he was off contract, and we still thought he'd stay because, Melbourne wanted him to stay there, even though that was in the clause. There was all this background around Cameron, and, because Melbourne had kind of said to me, we don't want Cameron to go, but if Perth is an option when they come in, then, so there was all that sort of in the background. And but at the end of the day, I'd been negotiating with clubs for 1 year, because we thought 1 year on loan for Jonah, and then he'd come back to Melbourne. But then when he played against the Bulldogs in the finals and got man of the match, we kind of sat around and thought, well, he's ready now. And if it's going to be this situation in 12 months, it's probably going to be the same. And we just couldn't do that any longer. So then we made the decision that we'd probably look to go somewhere. And then that's when we had interest from other clubs. Para kind of, they didn't offer a long-term deal. A lot of people get that. It may have been there if I pressed it, but when actually we talk about R360, when that happened, it freed up some money, and the fact that, and then that's when the conversation reopened about a year at Parramatta and then back to Melbourne. And then late in the piece around grand final week, Brisbane come in, and, when you look at Brisbane and the spine they've got there, and the way that they played, and sort of, Adam, even though Adam's saying he still wants to play on, I think he's coming to the back end of his career, and they're looking to the future. And it just sort of, for us, it was like the opportunity to play up there. Reece Walsh and Ezra Mam, and they've just won a premiership, and, I think his style would suit those players too, the way Jonah plays, because Jonah's... his defence is really good. His kicking game's exceptional. He's more a game manager. And I think that really complements those other two players who've got that great X factor about them. So, it was a hard one, but at the end of the day, kind of just, I said, well, why don't we just keep the 1 year at Para, and you get to play along Mitch Moses, and they're on the rise. He's good mates with Rolesy. They talk regularly. Rolesy had a great input on him in Melbourne. He's been a big part of his development as a player and as a human being, and we thought that it's really ideal. It's a perfect result.
Feels like it was a great deal for Jonah.
Yeah.
Like a great opportunity to develop.
I think it is.
But I guess the question we asked a couple of weeks ago was how it would be for Para. Like, obviously, Jason, if you just said he only offered him a 1 year deal, they clearly have a plan for beyond that. He's quite comfortable just to have him there for this year.
Well, and Mickey can talk to it more, was, as someone on the outside, but from my opinion, on the inside, is the players they've got there coming through are exceptional talents. But are they ready right now? Yeah. And you've got a ready-made there, a team that's on the improve. And I think the thing that I know that others don't about Jonah, you look at players and what they bring to a club, not only on the field but off it. He is the ultimate professional, and trains his arse off, and brings those standards and expectations from Melbourne. He'll be bringing that to Parramatta, and Rolesy knows that, and his competitiveness is second to none, and I know that. So, but if you just kind of put all the emotions aside and taking people's spots and all that, he's going to be better for the team and the club, in my opinion.
And it was pretty good forward planning for the Broncos. We're talking about how the Bears are trying to attract players, and if they're looking at the succession plan for Adam Reynolds and having a young half that's going to get great confidence playing with Mitch this year, makes it exciting for Brisbane.
It is. It's exciting for all parties. So I suppose the only downfall of it is if he succeeds so well with Mitch that long-term future
Jason's
at Parramatta
coming back to you.
is not there. But for their fans, I mean, it's been heartache for 30 odd years trying to win that premiership. And you think of that spine. Yongi was outstanding for them this year.
Too, man.
And you throw him in with Mitch. Like Mitch has played. He hasn't played a lot of club footy the last 2 seasons, but when he has, boy, they've been a different side, and he is absolutely elite. So to spend that time, even just for Jonah's development, sometimes when you're in a club for so long, you can fall into that's just how it's done. And so he's been with Munster and Hughes for so long, and in the Melbourne way, that you sometimes can fall into that habit. Well, that's just how it's done. Well, it's not. You can skin a cat in many ways, and the way that Parramatta play is a lot different to how the Melbourne Storm play, particularly with the footy. So I think for his growth and his development next to Mitch is huge for them. I think they'll have a great season together. But the heartache, I think
you say it'll hurt Parramatta if they do well, but at least they do it. If it's a good result anyway if they do well. But it also, you don't think Jonah's thinking, if he plays a year there and they go great. Obviously, it's just the way it is. It's rugby league.
I actually don't mind. I know. It's a little perplexing because we thought that Joash Papali'i was going to be the 6 and was given that opportunity, and that's why Dylan Brown wasn't in the team. But then things changed and Jonah became available. The fullback spot's gone. Iongi's just grabbed that and he's not going anywhere, and he's an absolute gun. So the only way for Papa Papali to get into the side is at 6. I'm not sure he's ready for that yet. I actually think that 12 months of development, training against Mitchell, training against Jonah, learning from them, and learning his craft as a half in New South Wales Cup, and a splash of NRL time there, whether that be off the bench or whether if Mitch is playing Origin, will be perfect for 12 months' time to go into the halves alongside Mitch when Jonah moves on. But then there's some further pressure coming from underneath. There's some good kids coming through at Parramatta, so they should be optimistic, their fans.
Yeah, maybe Mal needs to have a look at their
production line.
Their production line at Parra.